on my Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. I've also gone live on my personal Facebook page, Marianne Hanson, so you can check those videos out. And anyone that is joining for the first time, my name is Marianne. I'm the owner and the counsellor at Marianne Hanson Counselling Service. And this video is something which I thought might be useful because many people that have commented on videos have talked about this, you know, and it's called learning how to let your guard down or let your defences down. So many of the people I work with as a counsellor, and also when I've been working as a coach, have talked about this as being a specific issue for them. So when you've been hurt or you've been betrayed or your trust has been broken in any way, it's natural to put your guard up. It's human nature to say, you know, you don't want to go through that same thing again. So the thing to do in that situation normally would be to put your guard up, put your defences up and say, that's it now, I'm going to approach life differently. I'm going to behave in a different way so that no one can hurt me again, so that no one can let me down again. There's nothing wrong with doing that to a certain degree, but the problem comes up when you keep your guard up consistently and you don't, it's like you're keeping people at arm's length, so you don't allow anyone to get to know you. You don't give anyone the opportunity to prove, you know, that they can be trusted because you're so busy kind of focusing on keeping people away from you. And the thing with that is it can feel quite sad actually at times, because then that means that no one is actually getting a chance to get to know you. No one's really, even the people in your life, so it could be family, it could be friends, but definitely in partner, a relationship with your partner, you're keeping everyone to a certain degree away from you. They're not really understanding the real you. And I've worked with couples over the years where they can be in a relationship 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. They could be married or it could be serious, but there are things that they still feel that they're not as connected as they could be, or they're things that even get revealed during counselling sessions which their partner has never heard before. And that could be when they've been together for quite a long time. So the thing to think about really is that it can feel really exhausting to constantly be on high alert, on edge. You know, when I was working as a social worker, I worked with lots of children who in foster care, and they would have this protective thing where they are constantly hyper-vigilant. They're always, you know, on edge. They're always, so thanks for joining, whoever's joining, they're always, you know, ready to be let down. They're always thinking that they have to be in self-protection mode. They won't allow the foster carers to look after them because they don't trust it. Thanks to Tunna and Jevins and Jasmine for joining. So sometimes as human beings, we go into that thing where we're just thinking, I can't trust anyone. You know, it's too big a risk. So then you put your defences up, but the thing is, it can be exhausting because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable in a relationship. If your defences are constantly up there, and you're just always not trusting your partner, so maybe your partner is going off to do something for you as a surprise for your birthday, and you're thinking they're cheating, or maybe the person at work is always, looking at you in a particular way or doing certain things, and you view that as being that they don't like you, or they want your job, or they want you to get fired. There's so many situations where if you've got your defences up all of the time, it's not serving you. You're just kind of living life in this way where you are just in protective mode, but you're also in defensive mode. I don't know. Oh, right, there's messages, but I can't read them properly, so I'll look at the messages after. So the thing to think about really is, do you want to live your life where you just don't trust everyone? Do you want to live your life with some of the beliefs, even though some of the reasons behind it might be that you've had trauma in the past, you've had bad experiences with people, you've got beliefs that you hold that you are constantly living with, and you cannot get rid of those beliefs or change those beliefs. And those are usually beliefs about people. People can't be trusted. You might have beliefs about being defensive is the best way to live in this world because the world is a hard place. It might be, having these defences up or keeping your guard up is natural, it's normal, it's, you know, the best way to live, because otherwise people will take advantage of you. Or there's so many different things. You don't have to question your beliefs that you hold. What you would question is whether it's serving you to live that way. And what I'm going to do is just give you 4 tips if you're someone that is experiencing this that might help. Feel free to leave your comments. I know that people are having their own little chats, which is fine, that's good. But if you want to like comment as well, then you feel free to. So the first thing, if you want to learn to let your guard down slowly, you want to learn to let your defenses down, is to practice. You need to start doing it slowly by letting people in. See what it's like to be vulnerable with someone. You might choose someone that you have a good enough relationship with, where the consequences don't matter so much. So maybe you share a secret with someone close to you that has never heard that before. Maybe you start, instead of walking down the street thinking everyone's against you, everyone's going to attack you, maybe you put yourself in a situation where you're around strangers, where you're at an event, or you're, you know, just walking around and saying hello to people. I know it sounds a bit like I'm not just going to go up to a stranger, say hello, but you'd be surprised if you're walking around the park or walking around and you just open up your heart a little bit more. It's just practice. So doing things like that means that then when in your relationship, it's going to be easier for you to let your guard down. Because if you can't let your guard down in situations where it doesn't matter, because what does it matter if you say hello to someone and they don't say hello back to a stranger? But in your relationship, if your defenses are up so much that you can't trust your partner to do anything, you can't trust the physical intimacy between you, you don't trust them enough to what they say for you to believe it, then that's going to cause an issue in your relationship eventually. It's going to cause a gap, and it could lead to a relationship breakdown. So it's worth slowly practicing being more vulnerable, see what it feels like. The second thing is to consider the benefits of letting your guard down. What would your life look like? So I was talking about on the last live stream that I did on my Facebook about over the years how I've become more vulnerable myself with certain situations, but also with family. It's just and even with relationships, to be fair, it's this idea that if you're carrying around this like pressure to say that I've got to be on my game, I can't trust anyone, you know, this person is out to get me, or, you know, I've got to always be strong, I've got to be sufficient, I've got to be independent, it's too much sometimes for people to carry. So when you let some of that down and you say, you know, it's okay to ask for help sometimes, it's okay to walk into situations and be open-minded to the possibilities, instead of being, you know, right, I've got to go in there, and if someone says this to me, then I'm going to do that, and then if this person looks at me the wrong way, then this is going to happen. And you know, there's people walking into like parties or family get-togethers or all sorts of situations, and they're so like defensive, they're so guarded, and there might be a reason for that. It's not blaming or judging people as well. This is not what this is about. It's about exploring as a person. Do you want to live like that? Do you want to spend your life just constantly being on high defense, high alert, constantly feeling like you can't trust anyone? We've all got to trust eventually. I'll give you a story actually of years ago this happened, where I was driving one. I've had a few cars over the years. I've always usually bought my cars cash. I've had one car, I think, on finance in my life, but most of the time I've saved up, bought the car, but they're not always the best because obviously they're used cars. And I remember I had a car that I just could not, every time I'd go drive it, I'd be on high alert because there's always something would go wrong. It broke down about 3 different times, and it would always be in the wrong time when it broke down. And on this particular day, it was pouring down with rain. It was a busy A38 like area, and I'm driving, and the car just broke down. It was the wrong time, but it did. And it was in the middle of, it was rush hour as well. I'm sure it was like rush hour, plus it was rain and everything. So I had to sit there, and I'm thinking to myself, I've called the AA, so they're coming, but it's still blocking like the pathway of other people. I was just thinking, I just need to get off this, obviously where I was, because it was blocking everyone. And I just had to sit there, and I wasn't going to ask for help. I wasn't going to like wave anyone to come and, because I was too like in my thing of like, this is embarrassing, do you know what I mean? And no one's going to help me, and I feel stupid, and it's my fault, and all the rest of it. And luckily, two guys that were in like a white van. It's pulled over. I still remember it because it was about 5 years ago, but I remember that everyone was just going past because it was rush hour and everyone was beeping their horn and everyone was like, and I'm thinking, I can't move my car, you know. And then they came over and then they sort of pushed my car over to the side to like a safer place. It was out the way, it was like on the hard shoulder. And it was just that feeling of, you know, that was really nice of them to do that because it was pouring rain, it's rush hour, they didn't have to, they didn't know me at all. And it changed the way I looked at things a little bit because I thought, you know, if these complete strangers who don't know me could just stop, you know, get out of their car and help me, then yeah, it shows that sometimes, you know, what we think isn't always true. And there's loads of situations I've been in actually. I've been lost in places where I've asked for help. There's been a number of times where I've had to like rely on strangers for like something, and it's just made me think, you know, we don't always have to be fearful. That's in that situation, but I'm talking even more when it's important is in a intimate relationship with someone where your guard is up because the past, and this is the next thing, is don't judge everyone based on the negative past that you've had with someone else. So when we go into a relationship and we're thinking about something our ex has done, it's not fair on the person you're with because they're being judged on something they haven't done. And I've been in a situation similar myself because when I've been dating people who, I've dated guys who've got children and they might have two, not three, but two baby mothers of their children. So if they've had an argument with their mother of their child, or if the mother of the child has done something, this is what used to happen, I would get that projection of the anger onto me, and I've not done nothing to them. I've not got children with them, but I was getting their like wrath, their rage. And I'd say, why am I getting your anger when I haven't done anything to you and I'm like, you know, being nice to you, but well, you don't get it, you don't get it. They're always doing it. And I said, but I can't take their, like, you need to say that to them. I can't take the projected anger onto me. But when we're in a relationship sometimes and we're thinking about things that other people have done or what our ex has done and we're judging the person in front of us, then that's not fair. So the way to think about it is, how can we walk into every environment, every situation, every interaction with someone with fresh eyes, without those defences, with your defences down, at least with an open mind. If you walk into the situation with an open mind, it means you're saying, I'm going to judge the situation based on what happens between me and this person. I'm not going to judge it based on the past. I'm not going to judge it based on what someone else has done. I'm not going to judge it based on what happened at the last party, the last event, the last situation. I'm judging it based on what's going on right now. If we did that more, then I think there would be less of like lots of people making assumptions. There would be less people assuming that certain people can't be trusted, you know, putting lots of emphasis on certain groups in society and things like that. We can't judge a whole group of people, and this is something that I've had loads of conversations over the last few months where people are making sweeping statements about things, and that's just coming from this, like, as I've said, some of it is fear, and I'm still talking about defences when people have got defences up. Some of it is beliefs, some of it is just habit, some of it is issues from the past. Whatever the reason is, what you have to think about as a person is, do you want to operate like that, or do you want to change how you operate? And if you want to change, then you're going to have to make some changes yourself. So the first thing, as I've said, is to practice. Allow people in, allow yourself to be more vulnerable. The second one is to consider the benefits. Well, actually, don't judge everyone based on negative experiences. Consider the benefits. So what would your life look like if you let your guards down more? For me, I think having that like pressure off where you can think to yourself, do you know what? Maybe I don't need to be this defensive. Maybe I can live life in a more free way. Maybe everyone isn't out to get me. Maybe life would be happier if my partner saw a different side of me. You know, trust someone. Try to say to yourself, well, you know, maybe that's what life is supposed to be about. I'm not telling you to change your whole belief system and your whole values, but experiment a little bit. Say to yourself, well, all my life I've just been doing things myself. All my life I've had these defences up. I've been in survival mode. I've been in don't trust no one mode. You know what I mean? There's loads of people around that are going to gather around you and tell you, you know, you don't trust people outside of the family. Don't do this. Be strong. Be like this. You know, in relationships, never tell your partner certain things. Make sure you keep secrets. Make sure you keep people at arm's length. You've probably heard those messages maybe from family, from friends, from people close to you. But you can review those things. If that doesn't fit with your life, you can change it. You can say, that's not how I want to live. But it's going to take you considering what are the benefits going to be like, what would it be like for me to change and behave in a different way? What if I decided I was going to take more risks and talk to more strangers and get them to understand me and be in a relationship where I say I'm going to be completely open, but I'm also going to accept that by being completely open I might get hurt. By being completely open, things might happen which I've got no control over. We all as human beings need some element of control, but some people take it to extremes because they want so much control that it's not possible, and so the way that they're living is like they can't control every factor, so then they're always unhappy because there's, you know, they're not getting what they want, which is they can't. It's like perfectionism. If you're a perfectionist, you're never going to be happy because perfection doesn't exist. So the fourth thing, which leads on to everything really, is to trust in your ability to be resilient and to manage the situations when they occur. So you will no longer have to be defensive. If you know that whatever happens in any situation, you've got it, you can handle it because you know yourself enough, then you don't have to put your defences up, because you can say to yourself, I'm going to enter into this relationship with an open mind. I'm bearing in mind that in the past I've been cheated on. You might say something like that. In the past I've been hurt. In the past I've been played, or whatever it is. But what you would be saying is, instead of me going in with this like massive defensive guard up, you're not going to know anything about me, I'm not going to reveal anything to you, I'm not going to be vulnerable, I'm not going to tell you how I feel about you, I'm not going to introduce you to my family and friends, I'm not going to share too much of my life with you. So then you're kind of in the relationship but not really in it. What you're then saying is that you don't trust yourself and you don't trust the other person, so therefore what's the point in being there? Because for me, I already know before I've entered into a relationship what my standards are. So I know that if someone then does something which crosses my boundary, I already know what I'm going to do, so I don't need to worry. Why do I need to worry if I already know that if one of my deal breakers is cheating, and then if that person cheated, I know that I would leave. Why do I need to be worried about them cheating and then going in there with like defences? I don't. I'm not saying that this applies to me, but I'm saying in general. So I think we could all do that. So you know that you can create, you know, resilience within yourself. You can create having more confidence within yourself so that you don't have to walk around and just feel like you have to have this like fence up there because you're keeping so many people out. And in life, really, we need to be able to have the balance, because we're not, what's the word? No man is an island. That's the word that's the phrase that was coming up. As much as I'm quite independent and I'm very self-sufficient, I also love the fact that I've got a big family, I've got lots of friends, and I know the fact of, even if I don't see them as much, or even if I know that I could reach out to any one of my family, any one of my friends at any time and get what I need. I know that I can trust people. I don't want to walk around thinking everyone's out to get me, even if it's strangers. I know that if I'm in a crowd of people that I don't know, I'm still not going to be thinking the worst. I'm just going to be enjoying the moment. If I'm at a festival or whatever it is, if I'm walking down the street, I'm not thinking, oh, how can I escape if this person, the worst things, you know. And we can all have those feelings, but they've come from somewhere. So what I'm trying to say really is figure out why your defences are there. Figure out whether you want to slowly let some of your defences down. Figure out how you can do that in a way that is reasonable to you, and then just practice and see what happens. So thanks for joining, Jasmine, Turner and Jevins, whoever else is joining. If you join on the replay, feel free to leave your comments, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great week. Okay, bye.